Hello, and welcome to this video lecture which focuses on the developments in East Asia during the post-classical age, which lasts roughly from the years 600 to 1450. The majority of this video lecture will focus on the major influence in the region, China. You may recall that during the age of classical civilizations, China was ruled by important dynasties, the short-lived Qin Dynasty, followed by the longer Han Dynasty. After the fall of the Han Dynasty, much of the population began to move south, and China entered another period similar to the Warring States period in which various Chinese kingdoms were fighting for control. Just like the Qin Dynasty ending the earlier Warring States period, this one ended with the emergence of the Sui Dynasty, which ruled from 589 to 618. Like the Qin Dynasty, the Sui Dynasty was short-lived, but it did establish the foundations for the dynasties that followed. One important accomplishment that you need to know about the Sui Dynasty was the construction of the Grand Canal, an 1,100-mile-long canal system that linked the Yellow River in the north to the Yangtze River in the south. This had a tremendous impact on the development of internal trade in China. In 618, the Sui Dynasty fell, in part due to a failure in leadership. However, it was immediately replaced by the Tang Dynasty, which ruled from 618 to 907. The Tang Dynasty consolidated its power by relying on a strong military to bring rival nobles under control, and redistributing land, which had the effect of further reducing the power of the nobility. The Tang Dynasty expanded the imperial university system, training future government officials in Confucianist ideals and reviving the scholar gentry class of government bureaucrats. During the Tang Dynasty, China became the major power in East Asia, exerting social, political, and economic influence into Korea, Japan, and even Vietnam in Southeast Asia. Although these countries maintained their independence for the most part, China did institute a tributary system in which, in order to have diplomatic and economic relations with China, these countries had to recognize China's superiority. By 907, the Tang Dynasty had fallen out of power due to failures in leadership, internal rebellions, and of course, invasions from the north. This did not last long, however. By 960, the Song Dynasty came into power and ruled until 1279. The Song Dynasty was not as large as the Tang Dynasty, but they continued to build on Tang achievements, and during this era, China experienced a golden age of prosperity and achievements. During the Song Dynasty, the Chinese developed the technology to produce steel, and they invented movable type, which, along with the invention of paper during the Han Dynasty, advanced literacy. The Chinese also invented gunpowder, which was at first used in pyrotechnics, but later was used for military purposes. An important economic development credited with the Song Dynasty was the use of paper money, which we take for granted now, but at the time was actually quite innovative. Another important economic development during the Song Dynasty was the introduction from Vietnam of a new variety of rice called champa rice. Planting champa rice enabled Chinese farmers to raise 2 crops a year rather than 1. This is going to increase the population in China. Beginning in the Tang Dynasty, many Chinese officials were alarmed by the growing popularity of Buddhism in China, which they viewed as a dangerous foreign influence. As a result, during the late Tang Dynasty and throughout the Song Dynasty, there was a renewed emphasis on a new Neo-Confucianism, which incorporated some aspects of Buddhist thinking, but re-emphasized the moral code and social hierarchy of traditional Confucianism. An important aspect of this Neo-Confucianism was an increase in patriarchy. One manifestation of this patriarchy in China was the practice of foot binding for many Chinese women. If you want to see something shocking, do a Google image search on that. How can we think of post-classical East Asia thematically? Remember our inspect themes. Please see our video on the inspect themes in case you don't remember. The construction of the Grand Canal by the Sui Dynasty is a good example of interacting with the environment. For social interactions, we can cite the revival of the scholar gentry class and the continued practice of patriarchy. The expansion of the imperial university to train government bureaucrats and the practice of demanding tribute from foreign governments are good examples of the theme of political developments. Economically, the use of paper money, the impact of the Grand Canal, and the introduction of champa rice had far-reaching effects. Cultural developments include the popularity of Buddhism and the revival of Neo-Confucianism. Finally, we can point to the development of steel, movable type, and gunpowder as examples of technological innovation. Regarding our historical reasoning processes, post-classical East Asia provides a wonderful opportunity to see examples of continuity and change over time, or CCOT. The development of government bureaucracy and the continued influence of Confucianism in Chinese society and history are great examples of continuities in China. During this period of world history, China exerted tremendous amounts of social, political, and economic influence throughout East Asia. As global trade expanded, the rest of Afro-Eurasia would be introduced to and benefit from many technological advancements during this era. Have a great day.